Okay guys, welcome back to the course. In this lecture, I'm going to go through the playlist in FL Studio. So the playlist is basically where you arrange your track. So when you're creating your channel rack tracks here in the channel rack, you can just create them as clips, and then you take the clips into the playlist here. And you will basically build up your whole arrangement with these clips inside of the playlist. And by the way, I'm using the term clips because that is how it's used in Ableton and Logic, for instance. But in FL Studio, you call them patterns. So each pattern has their own individual clip. So let's say that I have this pattern 1 here, and I create this pattern 1 that contains this beat of kick drums. Now I can just take this pattern 1 and just paste it in to the playlist here. And then I can paste it whatever I want, how much I want of it. I can do it like that. I can also delete it by right-clicking that. And yeah, it's very easy to do that. So if you want to create a new pattern, you just click plus here. You can rename it. So let's say hi-hats here, like that. And now I can choose between the different patterns here, or I can just scroll between the patterns here. So to arrange the pattern, you need to select the pattern that you want to arrange, and then just click simply into the playlist here to have that pattern inside of the playlist. So it is very easy to build up your track in FL Studio and just arrange the track by just creating these different patterns and just taking it into the playlist here and arrange the track by doing that. All right, to get a bit of a better understanding of the playlist in FL Studio, let's open up the FL Studio demo project that comes with FL Studio. So let's just click File here, and you can go to Recent Projects and newstuff.flp. So as you can see, this is the demo project that FL Studio comes with, and it's a complete track here. It's a very nice kind of EDM track that comes with FL Studio, and you can see it's made by Adam Szabo and Johan Wilborg. And yeah, it may differ between your version and my version. Sometimes ImageLine has different demo projects, but in this case it's this track. So let's take a very quick listen to the track just so you can see how amazing tracks can be done inside of FL Studio.
There's a light over the ocean. There's a wind touching me. Another planet in motion. Could have finally set free.
So you can see how much of information there is. There's a lot of different audio here. It's a lot of MIDI, and you can see how quickly it works. FL Studio responds very quickly to every single instrument here. So yeah, FL Studio has a lot of potential here. You can see that this amazing track is made inside of FL Studio with just some patterns here, so you can see. And this is basically how the playlist works. So as you can see, it's just patterns, as I explained before how the patterns works. So as soon as I click on the pattern, I can just double click it here to get the piano roll. And if I select the pattern here, you can see that in the channel rack, this is the track that is being used. And here's the plugin for that particular sound. Let's take a look at the playlist, how it works. So here at the top, you can see the scroll bar here. You can scroll through the project in time like this. You can also see the time signature, so you can see how many bars there are here. You can zoom like this. You can see vertically and horizontally as well, like that. But there is a much more efficient way to scroll in FL Studio. So if you hold Alt and just scroll, you will see that it will zoom horizontally like this. And if you hold Control or Command on Mac and scroll, you will see we'll get this vertically like that. All right, so one more thing about the pattern selection here. You can right click here to get all of the different patterns that you have in the projects. And you can also see the different patterns in this way. So you can see this is the patterns which is made by in the piano roll. So you can see all of the different MIDI data here. So if I double click, you can see the MIDI data. Then we have the different audio samples that are inserted here in the playlist. So you can just basically drag in an audio sample directly into the playlist, and then you will see it in this list. So let's say that I use, let's say I want a drum loop here. So as you can see, now it's inserted here, and I can just choose a new track here. Let's say that I want it on track 58, and now I can just enable it like that, and it will actually play in beat with the project. We have the automation tracks. So you can automate basically everything in FL Studio, and I will cover automation in a later section in this course. But this is where the automations will be. So the automations are basically exactly laid out as a clip here or a pattern. So you can just take one of these patterns here, and this will be automation information. So you can just have it, drag it out like a normal track. You can actually see that. So here's the pad. So the chords is a group. Then we have pad, which is MIDI information. Then we have automation of that chords and pad section. Then you have different section here as well. And then we have automation for that. So you can see it by the icon here. So you can see automation here. And as soon as I hold over this icon here, you can see in the information section here what this does. So you can see this is actually a sawtooth, and it's a synthesizer. So it's a synth with a sawtooth in it. And then we have automation here. Here we have a pulse wave from a synthesizer as well. And here we have just melodic score. And by the way, if you're zoomed in like this and you don't know where you are, basically, you can just hold Control or Command on Mac and just right click. Then you're just zoomed out into the maximum zoomed out view possible. Let's talk a bit about the different tools that we have in the playlist. So you can see here we have our little toolbox here, which I call it. And you can see draw is the first one, paint, delete, mute,